We are now live using Logos Bible Software 7. So let's get started. Open your preferred Bible. In my case, that's the New King James Version. I'm presently going through the book of Acts, and there are several features you will find with Logos 7 that might interest you. One is the speaker icon, and some of these are for Logos 7 with Logos Now. Sorry, I've lost track as to which is which, but we'll get back to that at another time. And so this speaker says the person who is speaking, and this one here is the individual, the recipient of the message. So this is the addressee. This one here would be the speaker. This is one of the features that I like with Logos 7. And as I said, some of this you must have Logos Now to get. Let's look at some of the tools. You have a new feature in here called courses. For those who are using Logos Now previously, they will be familiar with this, but it has been updated since even Logos 7 has been reached, and I'm now using Logos 7.3. And so I can do a book reading plan, a courseware. Let's go into courseware and see what we have here. It will show the courses that I have access to or that I have licenses to. Biblical Theology of End Times by Jean Pauline. You have studied the Bible with Logos, Understanding Easter, the Gospel Message in the Early Church, Seventh-day Adventist Perspective on Revelation, one that I have already started. Some of the new tools that are in Logos software that persons may find quite handy, I know that I like. The major one for many persons is the sermon document type. And let me quickly take a look at it so you can see. So I would put in sermon series, let's say Revelation, topics, trumpets, key passages, Revelation chapter 8, for example, in this here, short summary of the sermon content, discuss the trumpets of Revelation, and private notes. Then in here you would put the information for your sermon. So we say God is love. In him is no darkness change that, at all. And there you have your first slide. I hit enter. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. And this will continue here. When I'm finished, I can export this to send it to Proclaim Sound Faith, export to PowerPoint. Proclaim is a software that Logos has come up with for presentation. So I'm going to start a new presentation. Good News, Revelation of Hope Gospel Series. And I tell it to send. So it's now sending it to the Proclaim software. Successfully sent. Open in Proclaim. This is a subscription software from Logos, proclaimonline.com. I like it a lot. Some persons like it, some don't. But basically it's a software which allows you to share your presentation setup. So with Proclaim, the pastor is at home. Everyone is a part of one group. The pastor is at home putting in his passages of scripture and whatever sermon content he or she desires. The clerk or the person who will be dealing with announcements, they're there doing their thing. Then you have the song service people who will also be doing their thing. And it just continues on from there. And so it's syncing now, and it's automatically open to the last one, the last presentation that was created, which was for Sabbath, December 24th. But that is not what we want. And so I'm going to open this one here, Untitled Sermon, and here we go. I select here, Entitled Sermon. I give it a title, Revelation's Trumpet. And then my first slide is here. I can also choose to record this information. Get started with sermon. Okay, wrong one. Let's go back. And so I say, I haven't done this in a little while. Here we go. Start recording. And I'm going to put it here. And then I will tell it to end recording. And I drag it here. And all of my slides will go between these two segments here, start and stop recording. Now back to the software. Okay, I did not give it a title. That's what happened. Let's call that help. I'm finished now. Done with sermon info. It is now named help. And let's go back and look at some more of the new features in Logos 7. I'm just pulling these from the top of my head. In Logos 7, you continue to have passage, exegetical, Bible word study, sermon, starter guide. All of these you are familiar with, these guides. We've had them before. There are some new features and tools. Self-tests for your courses. Looking at Wikipedia, Bible browser. You have a standard concordance. I will not pull that because it has to be rebuilt. But let's look at Bible browser, for example. And I'm going to choose Bible books, Common Division, Johannine Literature. So we have Bible books. Okay, there we go. That's the problem. Take out New Testament now. Let's choose New Testament. Let's go into the book of Acts. And we are now in the book of Acts. Let's look at people in the book of Acts. And look who is the feature in the book of Acts. The Apostle Paul mentioned some 400 or referred to some 448 times. If I select Paul, what Logos has done is tag the Bibles so that it makes mention of a young man. Since this young man refers to Saul, it would tag it. And it says, made havoc of the church, entering, dragging off. All of these are making reference to Saul. I keep saying Paul, so work with me. And in this case here, Logos has hand tagged all of these statements, gone through the entire Bible and hand tagged them. And so let's look for Jesus. Paul, it's still people Paul, but now people Jesus. So Saul is still breathing out threats and murders to disciples of the Lord. And so the word Lord would come up because he is relating to Jesus. And that is one feature. That is Bible browser. Let's look at another one that is new. I can generate a concordance, and I'm going to use a book. I choose, remember wherever they are, let's come back. Wherever you see these hyphenated lines, or don't remember the proper term, the blue line, perforated, that's what I'm looking for. You can select. So I'm going to choose the book, Steps to Christ. And what Logos will do, it just generated a concordance for the book Steps to Christ. After omitting common stop words, if I take that out, you get words such as the. I can take that out. And the most common word is God, followed by not. It was interesting to run the same concordance on the Bible and discover that the most common word, perhaps in the King James Version, is not. So that's what the concordance will do for you. And you can choose by count or by heading, the way a typical concordance is set up. When we come to Bible Browser Concordance Fact Book, another one that is really nice, and I was running some information on Christmas, and so it's automatically going through my library. While we're doing this, when you run it the first time, I would suggest that you collapse all of these sections and only expand them when you are ready. So now I will select Journals, and it says it has found information in the American Journal of Theology, Bibliotheca Sacra. So let's go into this one here, Christmas and the Saturnalia. I think I pronounced that word right. I select it and it opens it. So it says by Reverend Joseph P. Thompson, New York. And he's talking about the resemblance in the form article of Christmas festival at Rome to the Saturnalia of the old pagan city. And he's making reference to this. I select here. Okay, not tagged, or I don't have it, one of the two. Probably not tagged. And if I want to see, to get an idea when this journal was published, 1855. So this is fairly old, you would say, over 150, 60 years. Let's look at another one, The Christmas Star by Eugene D. Owen, PhD. And I want to see when this one, 93, this would have been 1936. And so we can see here these individuals are discussing the whole concept of Christmas. And so that's what journals will do. But when I come to my library, and of course what is revealed in the library, the results you get is based on which resources you have in your library. And that's what we're looking at right here. That's all for now. See you next time. Take care. How do you stop this? Someone tell me how to stop it? Oh, I don't know how to stop this. Oh, save presentation. So let's exit and see what we get. Ah, look at passages, and here's what we find: various passages that relate to the birth of Christ. Are there sermons? Yes. What media do you have? And so that would be fact book. Another one, we look at passages, and here's what we find: various passages that relate to the birth of Christ. Are there sermons? Yes. What media do you have? And so that would be fact book. Another one, we look at passages, and here's what we